Hi everyone, my name is Ingrid and this is Ingrid Reads a Lot. For today's video, let me get the hair in my mouth. For today's video, I want to talk to you guys about all the books that I'm excited about that are coming out in August. I figured I would do August by itself because I was looking through and looking at the books. I have like 5 different books to talk to you guys about just in August. So I figured it would be too many books to talk about in one video if I were to talk about multiple months. So we're just going to do August for now. And the book that inspired this video is a book I got from NetGalley that's coming out in August, and it's called Doll Makers. I'll talk to you guys about the book more when we get to that book, but I really loved it, so it inspired this video. But without further ado, I apologize if the lighting changed here. It's like still light out and sunny, but then it's going like a little bit dark because it just rained, so it's doing a lot of things. So I just turned on my normal lights so that it's hopefully the same. Anyway, you guys don't care about technical stuff. Let's get to the books that I'm excited to talk about. The first one is called The Seventh Veil of Salome by Silvia Moreno Garcia, and this one is coming out on August 6th. This is a mystery novel by Silvia Moreno Garcia, which, if you don't know, she normally writes, I think, mostly horror, and she wrote Mexican Gothic and Silver Nitrate recently that I've tried, and neither of those books I come out with really liking, so I want to give this one a try. So this book is set in 1950s and it's about Hollywood, and basically there is this actress, her name is Vera. She's like from a really small town, and she gets cast to play Salome in this big movie, and so she kind of becomes the talk of the town. But then we have another actress that has kind of fallen off and is not popular anymore. It causes a lot of conflict between the two actresses, but this book is also about Salome, the actual person from the Bible. We're reading, I think, from all 3 perspectives. I'm hoping I'll enjoy this book more than I did her other books because it's not actually horror. I think part of the reason I tend not to like Silvia Moreno Garcia's books is that the execution of the book is often lacking, in my opinion, because the premises of the books always get me. Like, I always read the premise, like I read this one and I'm like, oh, that sounds really good. But then when I actually read the book, it's not as good as I had anticipated. I'm not sure if it's because the fact that whenever something is labeled horror, for me, I have to find it scary. Like, in my head it should be scary, and I don't find her books scary at all. And it really bugs me because I'm like, it's not horror, it's like light horror. But at the same time, like, who am I to say what is horror and what isn't, you know? So I'm gonna give this one a try and see if I enjoy it, but I am excited for it. In this cover, holy moly, is it beautiful. Like, I liked the premises of the book and the synopsis, and I'm like, ooh, this cover, just the cherry on top. All right, and the next up we have, still on August 6th, is A Sorceress Comes to Call by T. Kingfisher. This is her newest book. It's a dark retelling of the Brothers Grimm Goose Girl, which I don't know, I've never read, but the synopsis sounds really good. It's basically, we have our main character Cordelia, and she lives with her mother, who is a sorceress, and her mother mistreats her. She basically is like, she goes on for extended periods of time not being allowed to talk or move, and her mom doesn't let her talk to anyone else in the town, and her only friend is a horse. One day in the middle of the night, after someone's death, like in the small town, they're forced to flee their house. Her mom's like, let's go, we gotta go. And so they end up in this manor where there is a man. Her mom wants to sort of marry him, wants to secure a marriage, and his sister lives there with him, and Cordelia is kind of like torn up because she knows her mom is bad news, and she likes the sister and the squire, and so that's where the story goes. And I think we also get a point of view from the sister. I'm excited about this. It's labeled as fantasy horror, which is pretty much T. Kingfisher's genre of choice, I believe, and so I love her books so far. So, and then next up we have The Dead Cat this is a tongue twister. The Dead Cat Tail Assassins by P. Djèlí Clark, and he is the author of Ring Shout, which I really enjoyed a couple years back. I haven't read any of his other backlist titles, but this one sounds really interesting, and then this is also coming out August 6th. It says the dead cat tail assassins are not cats, nor do they have tails, but they are most assuredly dead. And I just loved that. It just sounds so interesting. And basically one of our main character, I think her name is Eving, is an assassin, and she doesn't remember anything from before when she was alive, but she's been resurrected, and they're assassins, and basically they like live by 3 rules where they have to, the contract has to be just, and the second rule is that they can only kill the people they were contracted to kill, and thirdly, if you contract for a job, you have to carry it out. And I don't really know anything else about this. I think obviously some hijinks ensues, and the main character, I guess, is remembering things from her past that she's not supposed to be remembering. And it just sounds really, really good. And I think this is a novella. It's a fantasy novella, so it's gonna be short like Ring Shout, but I quite enjoyed that, so I think I'm gonna like this one too. All right, and then we have come to the moment where I've been dying to talk about this book. And the whole reason why I filmed this video is to talk about The Doll Makers by Lynn Buchanan. This is coming out August 13th, and it's a book that I got from NetGalley to read early, and I did. And let me tell you, so good. This is a fantasy adult novel, and the author labels it as a touch cozy fantasy and a touch horror, and that's so true. So this is kind of like a genre blend. Our main character, Shayon, is in this world where there are monsters, and so doll makers make these dolls that are intended to fight the monsters and protect humans. And so our main character, Shayon, is at the very beginning of the book being licensed to become a doll maker, because you can either be a guard doll maker where you make dolls to fight the monsters, or you're an artisan doll maker and you make dolls for like children, right? But all of the dolls are alive and they're capable of understanding and things like that. And so that's where we start off the book. I don't want to say anything else. I'm just going to give you a short synopsis because I will talk about this book more in depth in my review. But this was so good. I already pre-ordered the book, and there's also some art in the book that I'm like excited to see because I couldn't see it in the NetGalley copy. But basically it's an amazing book, and I like picked it up on a whim on NetGalley because I was just like flipping through, and then I read the synopsis of this and I was like, oh, that sounds interesting, and I requested it and I got it, and it was like insanely good. And so I'm excited for this coming out. I already pre-ordered it, like I said, but I'm excited for more people to read this, and I hope more people enjoy it. All right, and then lastly, we have a book coming out on August 25th, and that is Long Live Evil by Sarah Rees Brennan. And this is a fantasy story. I love this cover too, by the way, even though it's like, it reminds me of another cover, and I can't think of the name right now, but I'll pop a picture up because I'm sure I'll find it. But it reminds me of like mid to early 2000s. But anyway, focus. I'm gonna focus on what I'm saying. But basically this book is about our main character, Ray, and she is on the brink of death, and then she makes a bargain where she's allowed to, instead of dying, to go into a world of her favorite fantasy. Like, who wouldn't, right? When she gets there, quickly she realizes that she's the villain of this story, and she kind of bands with other villains to sort of see if they're gonna die or if they're successful. And it sounds like it's gonna be an epic fantasy with like found family. I'm really excited to read it, and I love the title. I'll leave you there. I'll do another one of these videos for September if this one does well or whatever, or I'll try to like merge 2 months together or 3 months together or whatever. But I was excited to talk to you guys about these books. I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you have any comments, concerns, questions, anything, leave them down in the comments, and please subscribe. It helps to keep me engaged and making videos. And obviously I want you guys to watch all the videos I post. I will see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.